Welcome to another exciting video in a CSS Mastery course. So today we will learn CSS selectors. What a CSS selector. Now let's understand what is selector. Suppose if you are creating element called h1 where you will write something like hello dev and you want to style it. So if you want to style this, so you also need to select this h1 to connect this h1 element with css. So how you can do this? With the help of css selector. So now let's understand what is selector and how you can use selector in your coding. So css selector are used to find or select the html element you want to style. We can divide CSS selector into five categories. The first one is a simple selector, second one is a combinator selector, pseudo class selector, pseudo element selector, attribute selector. These are. So in this video, we will learn about simple selectors. The CSS element selector are based on HTML elements name. For example, uh, if we will write here h1 with text hello dev, or we want to style this, so with the help of css element selector we can do this very easily. So first of all, write h1 and open curly braces, then close curly braces. Okay, so as you can see or notice the this thing and this thing, the difference is a angle brackets in a html. With the help of opening angle bracket and h1 and closing angle brackets, it make a h1 tag. But in a css, if we remove starting or ending angle brackets or only the main tag, which is a h1 span div or whatever, that is a element selector. So now if we want to color this or change the text of this color with red, you can do it very easily. After that, we will discuss about id selector. What is id? uh, the id selector use id attribute of html element to select a specific element. Suppose if you have multiple h1s, for example, here we will write css or something like h1 in htmx or much more. So, but you want to only select HTMX. You don't want to select hello dev or CSS. So in this case, what will you do? So now, just do one thing. Write attribute which is called ID and name it. The name is user defined. You can name it anything, whatever you want. Something like my id, your id, and something. So just come here and write my id. Notice the name of your created id and the css id will be exactly same, but as a prefix of this you just use a has. And after that you can see the color will be applied only on HTMX, which you have been selected. So now let's understand and deep dive into much more concepts. The ID and element is unique within a page. So the ID selector is used to select one unique element. Okay, so let's check it out. What happen if we will do this something like again my ID? So what will be happened? It's happening. What's great. But if we will do something like id is equal to or आईडी के अंदर अगर मैं क्या करूँ, your id, okay, and we want to select your id with property of background color with a black. Let's see what happened. Nothing, because as you can see here, it's a unique element, only one in a whole html code or whole html element. So let's come to the another selector, which is a css class selector. The class selector select html element with a specific class attribute. To select element with a specific class, write pre dot character followed as a class name. For example, if we will change the name of this id to class, and also this one to class, and change the prefix which is a has to dot, and also here to dot. Now you can see this will applied also my id and your id, but in case of id it will not applied, it will not working properly. So as you know, classes can be multiple but id cannot. And again come to the next concept, which is a universal selector. So let's create some more things like h2 and something like java, and again h3, where we write c++, h4, here we write javascript and much more. So if we want to apply red color on these all classes, wait for it, these all elements, sorry, not its class, its element. So I will write h1 and color red and something like this. I will copy and paste it again and again, and write for 2, and write for 3, and write for 4. It's this is a good approach or not? Tell me. No, it's not a good approach. So for that, we will use universal selector. So in universal selector, you just write asterisk and starting curly brackets and ending curly brackets, and write your property something like color red. It will apply on everywhere. And again, if we will write background color something like 000, so now you can see it will applied on whole screen. The next one is a CSS grouping selector. So what is grouping selector? If we want to create a group, such a kind, if we want H1 and H3 in a group A, and H4 and H2 in a group B, where we want to do something like, wait, H1 comma H2 apply color cyan, and I want in H3, sorry, H3 comma H4 color orange, something like this. So you can make a multiple groups. So the group selector select all the html element with a same style definitions. For reference, you can learn from here, which is a w3school.com/css/css selector.asp, means it's the route of this. And in a summary, you can learn about this. So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And bye bye.